The bill also seeks to give state governments authority and control over the federal immigration system by trespassing on the Article 2 executive power in a way that 8 out of 9 justices on the Supreme Court completely repudiated 2 years ago as a blatant violation of the separation of powers. The bill seeks to give state attorneys general precisely what the Supreme Court has denied: constitutional standing to sue the federal government in court for perceived violations of sections of the Immigration and Nationality Act, so states can block federal immigration policies, capsizing the Supremacy Clause and expanding judicial power to encroach upon executive discretion under Article 2. In June of 2023, the Supreme Court in United States versus Texas emphatically rejected the alleged standing of states to sue the federal government to alter the government's immigration arrest policies. This bill attempts a legislative bypass of this constitutional decision in U.S. versus Texas, written by Justice Kavanaugh and joined by 8 of 9 justices on the court. In rejecting the state standing argument, the court observed, among other things, that lawsuits alleging insufficient arrests or prosecution run against the executive branch's exclusive Article 2 authority to enforce immigration law, which includes the discretion to determine enforcement priorities in the face of a chronic lack of resources and shifting public safety, public welfare, and foreign policy needs and priorities. If this bill were to become law, both provisions would have the perverse effect of undermining the federal government's efforts to prioritize the detention and the deportation of the truly most dangerous convicted felons. With the vastly expanded new statutory scope and new authority for states to get legal standing on steroids, the government can be sued by a state for not detaining everyone charged with or even arrested for the pettiest of crimes like shoplifting. This bill tries to give states standing to sue for harms as small as $100, dramatically shifting power from the executive branch to the courts and the federal government to the states, both in ways considered completely dubious by the Supreme Court. Like many of the immigration-related bills the GOP is now advancing, this one seems to follow a simple strategy. Pick a crime, paste into it a template immigration law covering convicted criminals, and then require detention or deportation of certain persons merely accused of committing the crime or arrested for committing the crime. No due process required at all.